When I started this business, I didn't know anything about computers. I barely knew how to, do a Google search. I barely knew anything about. I knew nothing about internet marketing. I didn't even know what an affiliate program was. And when I discovered the idea of affiliate marketing, I thought, wow, you can just put a website up, and then people come to your website, and you start making money, right? That easy. Well, I quickly realized that there was a little more to it than that. So it actually took me, I first started making an SEO site, which was, my site was nothing like that. And I tried to get free traffic, which I ended up getting, I think after 5 months, I ended up getting like 1 unique a week, and not a single affiliate sale. And then I discovered PPC affiliate marketing when I ran into an ebook called Google Cash by Chris Carpenter. You may have heard of it. And it was tough. It was tough. I got the idea. I was really excited. I mean, I was so excited when I came up with this, when I discovered this idea that I couldn't sleep at night. And I went through about 16 campaigns before I had any success. It was grueling. And you can see how I started out. That was my office. That little desk, that little laptop chair, and my computer, that was my entire business right over there. That was my entire office. PPC and basically any type of affiliate marketing you do, it's an uphill battle in the beginning, especially if you're like me, if you didn't know anything about web design, you didn't know anything about marketing, nothing. I have a background in physics. I have a PhD in physics. That's great if you go in physics. But I don't have a PhD in marketing. First 7 months, I made $0 profit. In fact, the first 5 months, as I mentioned, I didn't make a single affiliate sale. Now think how discouraging that would be. Doing affiliate marketing for 5 months and not making a single sale. But here's what happened. I stayed persistent, and everything started coming together. I kept pushing. I kept believing that I could do it. And the fog started clearing, and I said, okay, this piece goes here, that piece goes there. It's all starting to make sense, Keyword research, I set up the campaigns, I set up the landing pages, all came together. My 8th month, I made $2,000. And that was, for somebody making $0, and my initial goal was to make $500 a month with this business, I was really freaking excited when I made $2,000. And then my 9th month, I made $10,000. And then my whole family got excited. And so I like to call this the Sisyphus Effect. A lot of you may be starting out in this business. You may be struggling. You may be not having a lot of success. There's a huge learning curve, and I call it, that's like the Sisyphus Effect, where you're trying to push this huge boulder up a mountain, and you're just not seeing any results. And you're not going to see any results because it's all the results are happening in the inside. You're learning all the strategies, the techniques, the mindset to make it successful. And until you reach a certain level of proficiency, you're not going to start making a profit. But you got to stick in it long enough till you reach 90%, 95%, 98% proficiency. Then you start making money. And then after that happens, you have the snowball effect. Once you know how to make $1, you can scale that and make $10, $1,000, $10,000. And that's what happened to me. And then after that 9th month, about 6 months later, I quit my job. I quit a $90,000 a year job. Never to look back again. Okay, now that I tell you about my background, I want to get into the nitty-gritty. I want to explain some of the things that I discovered on my path to becoming a quote-unquote super affiliate. I don't know why they call it that. But anyway, keyword research is probably one of the most important aspects of PPC affiliate marketing in general, understanding keyword psychology. And this is probably the area most newbies totally drop the ball. And I totally dropped the ball on this. And that's one of the biggest discoveries I made from going to that 0 to that 10,000. Now, let's say we're promoting like an anti-spyware product, right? And you're doing keyword research. And the most obvious keyword is anti-spyware. So here's what most newbie affiliates will do. They just put spyware into Google Keywords tool or Word Tracker or whatever free tool they have out there nowadays, and they'll generate a list like that, which will all be variations of the word spyware. And then they'll put that into AdWords and start bidding on it. Now, this is what I call going deep. Just to explain some terminology. Going deep is when you start with one really obvious, really competitive keyword. Like if you're in the insurance market and you just type in insurance into Google and you start bidding on it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get killed because you are too narrowly focused on the most competitive keywords in the market. And believe it or not, you're actually missing out on most of the traffic. You're actually missing out on most of the traffic if you use this strategy. Let me explain why. Now, here's how a super affiliate would do keyword research in this market. Take a look at this list. Delete adware, delete dialer, delete spyware, delete Trojan. Now, these are all different terms for different types, different names of spyware. And you can even go farther than this. You can take the list. There's like thousands of different spywares out there. W32 and this and that, and you can get a list of that and bid on all of that. This is what I call going broad, having a broad keyword list. Not being, not focusing on one keyword phrase, but having a broad variation of phrases and terms and lateral related terms in your keyword list. It's so important to have that, especially when you're launching your campaign. Super affiliates, here's the moral. Write this down, star it, circle it. Super affiliates always go wide before they go deep. You always want to have a wide, broad keyword list before you go deep. That is really important. And what that's going to do is going to set you up to identify, like you might bid on all these keywords and you might say, oh, well, guess what? Trojan converts like crazy. Well, guess what? You can now focus on Trojan and go deep on that and find all the long tails of Trojan and bid on that. But if you never bid it on Trojan to begin with, if you just bid it on spyware or anti-spyware or whatever, you would have launched a campaign and you're like, oh man, it's like $3 a click, and you end up on page, you end up in position 26. You get 10 clicks a day, and after a month, you don't have any sales, you get discouraged, and you pause it. You know what I'm talking about, right? So here's the strategy. You start with your keyword research. Use a tool like Word Tracker. Key Compete is a really cool tool. It lets you do competitive keyword research. I'll talk about that in the next couple slides. SpyFlu is another competitive research tool. You can also use Wikipedia to get ideas, to find broad keyword lists, find related terms, really understand your market and what terms are relevant in your market, to build a broad keyword list. You want to first go have a broad keyword list. I call that going wide, and launch a campaign with those broad keywords. And for each broad keyword category or theme, like you want to have a targeted landing page. So for Trojan, you want to have a different landing page. For W32, for browser hijackers, for spyware, malware, you want to have a different targeted landing page for each of these terms. So your page is highly relevant to the visitor. This will help your conversion rate. It's also going to help your quality score, which I'll talk more about later. Next, what you want to do is once you launch your campaign, you can immediately see what keywords are getting the most traffic and conversions. And as I said with the Trojan example, let's say Trojan's getting the most traffic and the most sales. You immediately zone in on that and start expanding that out, finding more variations of Trojan and finding all the long tails and doing all of that. Now let's start talking about, now I want to show you an example of one of my favorite keyword tools for developing a broad keyword list, and that's Key Compete. And what's cool about this tool, it's a little sneaky tool. It lets you basically sneak and take a peek at what other people are bidding at. So let's say you're selling shoes. Let's say you're promoting something like Zappos.com, right? And you're promoting shoes. You type in cheap shoes in here. It'll return back a list of retailers that are bidding on that term and other related terms. Famous footwear, etc. Basically, Adidas, it will give you all the keywords that these merchants are bidding on. Well, maybe not all of them. Let's say it's like 60%. And think about it. A lot of like famous footwear. I'm sure there's like some badass agency that's has a huge keyword list for that. And this tool will let you see what that is. So let's go ahead and click on famous footwear and take a look at this keyword list. And this is just first 17 terms. There's over 1,000 keywords for this. There's probably tens of thousands for this. And this is a very broad keyword list. Pom pom boo. Like, who would have thought of that? Pom pom boo. And this is the type of stuff that, unless you're really into shoes, you wouldn't have thought of these. Okay, now that you've developed your keyword list, let's go on to the next phase. The next phase is your bidding strategy. And this is another big pitfall for a lot of affiliates where they might have developed a good keyword list, they might have a really broad, excellent keyword list, but if they screw up here, they're dead in the water. You can have the greatest keyword list in the world and still fail. And let me tell you why. I'm going to give you an example of Joe. Joe's a newbie affiliate. He's read my blog, and he read all about how to do a broad keyword list. He's all excited. He's pumped. And he just launched a new campaign. And he started his bid at 20 cents. 20 cents is kind of low, but this is just an example. I would start my bids at around 50 cents for most markets, or more. After around 500 clicks, he made $60 in commissions. But he spent $100, so he lost 40 bucks. Good stuff, right? I mean, he was excited. He just launched it first day, spent 100, made 60. He's like, sweet, I can make this work. So he lowered all of his bids to 10 cents. And what happened? He waited for 500 clicks. He's like, okay, sweet, I should be profitable now. I'm only bidding 10 cents. No sales after 500 clicks. 1,000 clicks. No sales. This is like a month later because now he's getting like a fraction of the traffic. So he's waited a month. He's got 1,000 more clicks and not a single sale when he made 3 sales on the first day, netting $60 in commissions. What happened? What happened to Joe's campaign? What did he do wrong? Well, you know what Joe figured? Oh, well, the market just tanked. Let me try another offer. Well, here's a tip. High converting keywords are more expensive. You know why they're more expensive? It's just supply and demand, because they convert. They have a higher conversion rate. That means people bid more for them. So in order to rank well for a high convert, in order to make money on a high converting keyword, you have to bid high enough to get traffic for it. And if you're on page 3, you ain't getting no traffic. When Joe bid 20 cents, he was getting traffic. His high converting keywords may have been on page 1, maybe at the top of page 2. He was getting traffic for them. And he made sales from those keywords. However, when he dropped his bids, when he dropped his cost per click down to 10 cents a click, his maximum cost per click, his high converting keywords ended up on bottom of page 2, page 3, somewhere really far. You ever start a campaign, you see your impressions, position 146? You're not going to make a sale off that, sorry. So what's the solution to this? What could have Joe done differently to avoid, pushing his high converting keywords to the point where they're getting barely any traffic? Here's a technique I developed, and it's a technique that I've realized that actually other PPC marketers also use this technique. It's a technique called shifting. Here's what I typically do after I let a campaign run for a couple days. I will take all of the ads that are greater than position 8, which is typically at the bottom of the first page or the second page, and I'll bump their bids up. I want to get those ads to the middle of the second page. And if the ad positions are like 1 and 2, right at the top, I'll push their bids down. Because chances are that those keywords probably don't convert too well. So this is called shifting, and I'm pushing all of my ads to the center of the page, center of the first page. So then I can let it run without busting my budget, without bidding $5 a click, and bust. I mean, if you're a super affiliate, you can bid $5 a click and let it run for 3 years and see what keywords convert. But if you're just starting out, you might not want to drop $10,000 or a week testing out a campaign. So this is a technique I would recommend, and this is what I use. There's a more sophisticated way of doing this, but this is a basic idea. Get all your keywords on the first page, collect data, find out what converts. The next part I want to talk about is a little more about the psychology of it. Because in PPC affiliate marketing, you're going to be spending a crap load of money. I mean, between the companies that I own about 2 companies, and we focus on affiliate marketing. One has shareholders, one is just mine. We spend about anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 a day on PPC ad spend between Google, Yahoo, and MSN. So, and a lot of people say, oh, isn't it scary? Do you lose sleep at night? How can you spend that much money and not check your stats every 5 minutes? Well, it's all about your mindset, It's all about your mindset, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this next section. And here's the thing, that most aspects of the business are actually really simple to execute. They're actually really easy to do. And for example, I want to show you how to optimize your bids to get, let's say your goal is to get 100% ROI. Let's say your goal is to get 100% ROI. That means for every dollar you put into Google, you get $2 back in commissions, or Yahoo or MSN. Okay, so let's say you target cost per conversion. Cost per conversion is the amount it costs you to make one sale. For a $20 commission, you want a cost per conversion of $10. So if it costs you $10 to make one sale, and that sale gives you $20 back, you have 100% ROI. Now, once you have proper statistics, now I put proper in all caps for a reason, because you have to wait till your campaign runs long enough before you can actually do this. Otherwise, you might as well, shoot your campaign in the foot. If your cost per conversion on a keyword is greater than $15, then increase the bid by, then lower the bid by 15%. If your cost per conversion is greater than $10, lower the bid by 10%. Greater than $10, lower the bid by 10%, but still less than $15. If you have a really high conversion rate, your cost per conversion is less than $10, jump up that bid. Shoot it up. This is for those of you who follow my blog and follow what I do, this is just a very basic, bare bones optimization methodology. You can take this to 20 different steps. But this is a basic idea. If you follow something like this, you will, over time, optimize your bids and get 100% ROI. You just repeat this. You do this periodically until you get the ROI that you want. Now, here's why most affiliates completely fail to do this, even though they know this to be the case. There's 3 categories of affiliates. There's the trigger-happy affiliate. And this is the guy who's like, oh man, I made $100 profit today. And he jumps his bid up by 50%. And then 3 days later, he breaks even, so he drops his bid by 50%. He's like changing his bids every other day or every day based on statistically insignificant market fluctuations. He's not doing it based on proper statistics. The scared affiliate is the guy, and for those of you who frequent forums, you know about these people. When I first started, I spent a lot of time on forums, so I met every category. The scared affiliate is a guy who thinks that if he has a bad day and he pauses his campaign for 3 days and turns it on, the market will magically turn around. The really scared affiliate is a guy that doesn't get anywhere. He spends $10 in a campaign, he doesn't make a sale, he freaks out, and he pauses it. The idea of even spending $2, he'll go out to Starbucks and get a cafe latte for $4, but if he spends it on PPC, he'll freak out. Here's the bottom line, folks. If you let fear control your decision-making process, you will never become a super affiliate until you overcome that. You have to overcome your fear of losing money. You have to develop the mindset and the thick skin to say, okay, I lost $500, no big deal. It's a learning experience. It's an investment. You're not spending money on PPC. You're investing it into your education. And if that's your mindset, then it'll be okay. And also, if you use something called the daily budget, that kind of helps. You won't bust your budget. The next thing I want to talk about is the 20/80 rules applied to affiliate marketing. Because, a lot of people ask me, like, oh, Meet, now I have over 50 campaigns. I use one Google account. I know some of you have 10, 20, 30 Google accounts. I have one Google account because I want to take advantage of the account history and the age. And I have 50 campaigns in there. And I have Yahoo and MSN, and they have a whole bunch of campaigns. How do you manage all of that? That's insane. That must be a full-time job. No, I don't spend a lot of time managing it, actually. Because I apply something called the 20/80 rule. The 20/80 rule says that 20% of your keywords will account for 80% of your sales. And in reality, when you launch a campaign, it's more like 3% of your keywords will account for 95% of your sales. And you know what I'm talking about. A small percentage of your keywords are going to account for the majority of your sales. It's a 20/80 rule. You see it in everything. So you can take this, you can use it to your advantage to optimize your campaign as efficiently as possible. You always want to focus on the top performers, top performing keywords, top performing ad groups. Here's what I do. Here's a great technique. When you have a campaign, if you have Google conversion tracking running, and where you can see the number of conversions and the cost of conversions on the last two columns in AdWords, sort your ad groups by the number of conversions, greatest to least. That way you see what ad groups are producing the most sales. Optimize those. Don't worry about the ad group that has a 0.1% conversion rate. It's not affecting your bottom line. Don't worry about the ad group that's getting all this traffic and no sales. Pause it. Forget about it. Focus your attention on the ad groups that are producing the most sales and optimize those. Split test your ads. Split test your ads like crazy. Expand your keyword list within those ad groups. Find more long tails. And here's a big one that's really powerful. Application of the 20/80 rule. After you let your campaign run for a month, or maybe you feel more comfortable 2 months, after that period of time, use AdWords Editor, download your campaign, identify all the ad groups that have produced no sales and pause them. All the keywords that produce no sales and pause them. And that will do wonders for your ROI. Okay, the next thing we'll already hit on a little bit, testing. Now I'm going to tell you why testing is so important, especially if you're using AdWords. Okay, let's say you have a campaign and you're making $200 a day. Not bad. But you're spending $300. Not so good. So you're losing $100 a day. Now here's a scenario, potential hypothetical scenario, without adjusting your bids, you can actually make this campaign profitable. Let's say you split test your ads, your top ads, and you get your CTR up by 50%. That's not unreasonable. That means more or less you're going to get 50% more traffic at more or less the same cost, because Google rewards you with a higher CTR. They reward you with a lower cost per click. So let's say now you're breaking even. Now, let's say you split test your landing page. You do an A/B split test on your landing page. You split test your headlines, your colors, your call to action buttons, your hero shots, maybe even your layout. And you manage to get your conversion rate up by 50%. And now that campaign that was losing $100 a day is now making $150 a day profit. I test every freaking element of my campaign. I test my creatives. I test my domain name. I test my landing page. Everything. I don't leave anything to chance. And if you're not testing your domain name, you're making a big mistake, because that's huge. Here's how to properly split test your Google ads. I recommend split testing 2 ads at a time, and use a program called splittester.com. It's called splittester.com. What this allows you to do is you have your 2 ads, you put the number of clicks for the first ad, the CTR of it, number of clicks of the second ad, and the CTR. And it'll tell you whether the ad that you think is a winner is really a winner, or if it's not statistically significant. It will tell you, it does a chi-squared split test. It does a chi-squared analysis. So basically, it can tell you the statistical margins, whether they're real or not. Because if you have like 7 clicks on one ad and 4 clicks on another, chances are that 7-click ad is not, even it has a 1.6% CTR versus a 1.3. It's not a winner. You need more statistics. You need to let it run longer. Typically, if you have at least 30 clicks on each ad, at least 30 clicks on each ad, then you have a better estimate of what the CTR is. The landing page, I just talked about that. Headline is the biggest thing to test. Headline is the first thing that hits, or if you have like hero shot, a headline, color schemes, images, call to action button. Have you ever seen a landing page where you couldn't figure out how to make an order? What do you think that's going to do to the conversion rate? A slight change to your call to action, just rewording it, can have a huge impact. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the infamous Google landing page quality score, slap, punch, whatever you want to call it. Now, it's getting increasingly difficult to deal with this, and I know a lot of affiliates are really, really frustrated by this, but hear me out. I have developed a way, and I'm going to talk more about it. I'm going to tell you a little about the basic idea, but I'm going to tell you a little about also the psychology, the mindset you need to have to build a site that will be slap-proof. How to make a site Google happy. You want to have unique content on there. You want to have a privacy policy about us. You want to make it look like a real site. Your site cannot just be a series of landing pages designed specifically for PPC. That's exactly what Google does not want. If you're designing a site just for the sole purpose of driving PPC traffic, you're dead in the water. Sitemap helps Google spider the page. Here's a good one, a links to a resources page with other high-trust sites. Now, with high trust, with Google means it better be like a .org or .edu site. And these links can be like tiny, small links at the bottom. They don't have to be, at the top of the page. Use your common sense. Fresh content, add articles, add a blog onto it. You might want to even consider making your site in a WordPress template. Customize your WordPress template and turn it into a real site. And start adding fresh content on there every week. Here's a big one, targeted landing pages. Here's what I do. If I have a keyword list, a broad keyword list, I'll have my team break it into themes. I'll have it break it into themes, like maybe 5 to 10 different themes of keywords. And I'll have a different unique landing page made for each of those themes. And you don't have to have the keyword in the landing page. What Google is looking for is relevancy, and they're not looking for an exact match between your keyword and the landing page. That works really well. Think SEO site, or think real site. Let's imagine for a second that you weren't just, putting up these landing pages just to drive affiliate traffic to them and make money. Imagine you're actually building a real business off of your site. How would your site look like? Would it be solely, if you had a site where you're building a whole business around, would it be solely PPC traffic? Or would you have social networking traffic in there? Would you have backlinks coming in there? Would you have fresh content coming in there? Would you have compelling content on there? You want to build a real business around your site. PPC should be maybe 98% of your revenue, but build a real freaking site. That when somebody goes, they're like, wow, this is a nice site. And it just happens to have PPC landing pages as a part of the site that are driving 98% of the revenue. Right? have a real site. My sites, I have a team of people continually working on my PPC sites. They're adding fresh content. They're social bookmarking, backlinks, article marketing, you name it. They're building up the sites. And those sites are starting to rank in natural search engine, and they're starting to get a lot of natural search engine traffic as well, which is cool. It's a bonus. I'm telling you right now, Google is tracking that stuff. Here's why you want to make Google happy. How many of you lost sleep over Google Slaps? I mean, if that's a big benefit right over there. The idea that you're going to wake up one day and your entire business is wiped out. And I know you can, re-upload your campaign, change your domains, and you'll get like not 80% or 90% of your traffic back. But guess what? Do you think that's going to work forever? What if Google comes up with a way to slap you every single day? You're screwed. You better start building something of value and quality that has value above and beyond just the landing pages if you want to build a long-term business. Because that strategy of changing your domain name every 3 months is not going to work forever. And you know that. Improve conversions. Because if you actually make those targeted landing pages I'm talking about, you'll get a better conversion rate. You'll have a competitive advantage. Because even against the guys who just change their domain name and re-upload their campaign, you'll have a competitive advantage because you'll keep building history while all their history gets wiped out. And you'll be able to focus your time on building more campaigns instead of constantly reacting to Google slaps and trying to recover from them. You'll get free traffic if you build up your site properly. And you'll build a business that has long-term profitability. And you know what? I suspect 5 to 10 years from now, if you have a PPC site that is Google-proof, that will be an asset. That will be an asset. Because yeah, affiliate marketing, we're not really building assets here. That's what a lot of people say. But if you have a site that's unslappable or that's not getting slapped, that's an asset. Don't be lazy. There's so much money. There's an obscene amount of money in this business. Why would you mess around with something that you can make so much freaking money with and be lazy with it and not take the time to do it right? Because it doesn't take that much effort. And if you have a profitable campaign, you can hire 10 guys out of Eastern Europe and 10 guys out of India and 10 guys out of the Philippines to do all the work for you. For $5 an hour or whatever. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, which increasingly, as this business becomes more and more competitive, and as the quality score and the requirements for Google and the other search engines become tighter, it's harder for somebody who's just working out of their basement, some 14-year-old kid working out of their basement to make money in this business. It's becoming much more sophisticated. The biggest thing let me tell you a story. When I quit my job in 2006, I think it was July 15th, greatest day of my life. June 15th, 2006, I walked away from my job, greatest day of my freaking life. Never forget it. Hated my job. I thought naively that my business would explode now that I'm doing affiliate marketing full time. Wow, I'm going to be making all this money. It's going to be incredible. My profits will explode. And well, actually, reality hit. And my profits stagnated. And I came to realize that I was my biggest bottleneck because I didn't know how to do web design. I didn't want to write the content for my sites. I just wanted to do the PPC. I understood how to do the marketing. And so I realized that was my biggest bottleneck. And, it's better. You don't want to be the jack of all trades and the master of none. I know it's sort of cliched, But the chances are that there are affiliates who are wizards at web design and making the site themselves and doing everything. If you're that person, great. But what I suggest is focus on your strengths, what you are best at, and outsource the rest. Focus on the best and outsource the rest. Write that down. And here's my team. Here's just, I have more people on my team now. This is an older slide I did, an older presentation. But this is just an idea of some of the people on my team. And I look for very, very talented people. Tom, expert at web design, SEO, social networking. Melanie is an expert at copywriting, SEO, and content writing. Aline is another web designer I use. I got a bookkeeper. I got an accountant. All that stuff takes up time. You're running a business here. I used to pull my hair trying to do bookkeeping myself. You shouldn't be doing that. She does all my books for about $300 a month. Torinia, she did this presentation. I also have a home team. If you're running a multi-million-dollar affiliate business, you don't need to spend your time doing laundry and getting groceries. You have to focus on those high dollar value activities. If it's not a $200 or more hour activity, then you got to ask yourself, can you have somebody else do this? What is your time worth? What is your time worth? Figure that out. And everything that's worth less than that, you need to start outsourcing. Period. Okay, I know, I'm covering a lot of material. Now I want to talk a little about the future of PPC affiliate marketing, because I know there's a lot of anxiety that people have. Is this business going to last the next 5 to 10 years? What's it going to be? And I think it will last, but I think it will be a different beast. Because when one opportunity closes, another one opens up. When one strategy or one methodology stops working, another one starts working. So let's take a look at what the future holds. Slimmer profit margins for PPC. And is there anyone in the room that doubts that the profit margins are going to get slimmer and slimmer? People are getting better and better at it, and it's getting more and more competitive. There'll be slimmer profit margins, especially if you're an affiliate. Because if you're an affiliate, you don't have a back end. You don't have a back end where you can keep selling the customers different products and doing all types of things to increase your customer value. But at the same time, we'll have slimmer margins, but we're going to have exciting new opportunities pop up. Stricter quality score requirements from Google, Yahoo, and MSN. And that will actually counter the slimmer profit margins, because the stricter quality score requirements are going to help keep those bid prices lower. They're going to push those bid prices down, while the increased competition pushes them up. Because you're going to have less competition. So my question is, when I look at all this, and I see all this, I'm like, okay, how can I turn this into a benefit? How can I capitalize from this? One thing you have to do, if you're just going to keep doing PPC, then you're going to have to launch more offers, or launch offers that last longer, if you want to maintain your income, or should I say increase your income. If you want to continue to increase your income, and you have slimmer margins, you just have to launch more offers. And if you don't have a team to help you launch those offers, it's going to take a lot longer. If you have a team and a system in place, then you can launch a lot more offers. And if you properly build and optimize a solid long-term campaign, you'll be a lot better off than going with the 3-month wonders. Wow, I made a killing for these 3 months, and now I'm off to something else. Develop creative strategies. Supplement your PPC with SEO, and social networking, contextual ads, and whatever other strategy you might come up in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm sure there'll be a lot of cool things coming up. Think one step ahead of Google. Google is changing very rapidly. Now they're starting to introduce social voting into the search engine results page on the natural side. So SEO is going to go out. It's starting to look more like Dig. SEO is going to be gone in the next 5 to 10 years. Or at least it'll be very different than what it is now. PPC is going to be the new SEO. It almost is, because it's a complete black box, So you have to think one step ahead of Google. Now, I can't do a whole presentation about talking about the benefits of this awesome business. And I want to talk about a little about the 5 things I love about this business. Because you know, a lot of you might have seen the presentation like, damn, this is a lot of work. Yeah, and it's not easy. It can be really difficult to really get this to work, but I'm telling you, it's so worth it. First thing I love, shocking bank tellers. Yeah, I'd go to the bank, I'd wear like some t-shirt, I'd go to the affiliate summit, flip-flops, walk in there, give my affiliate checks. I'm like, oh my God. And then they look at my bank account like, sir, it's not a good idea to have that much money in your savings. You might want to consider transferring that to a CD. I'm like, lady, I'll think about it. You know what? I don't care. And the time it takes me to set up a stupid CD, whatever interest I'm going to make on that CD, I could launch an affiliate campaign tomorrow and make more. Number 4, nap time. Now, I know some of you already do this at work, but it's much nicer doing it in your home in a soft bed or on your sofa with the fan going in the summer. It gets hot. You want to take a nice little nap. I love nap time. In fact, I took one today. So, real security. A lot of job people say, oh, well, there's no security in these affiliate businesses. You can get Google slapped, and this can happen, that can happen. Well, guess what? If you think there's still security in a job, wake up. There's no security in a job. The only security is in your ability to make money, your ability to go out there and launch a campaign tomorrow that will cover your living expenses. If you can do that, that's 100% security. Because if you lose your job, you can't go, okay, let me launch a campaign. It's not going to happen, World travel, mobile income. I think that's probably one of the biggest draws in this business. My wife and I spent 4 months out of the year last year traveling the world. We went to Alaska, Bermuda, India, all over the place. It was amazing. And mobile income, you can basically, I'm living in Miami right now. I actually have a home in Boston, but for 6 months, my wife and I flew down to Miami, and we're staying there. My wife actually has an internship there, so she's doing her residency there at Bascom Palmer Eye Institute while I am enjoying the beach. Actually, this is not a great time to enjoy the beach. It's actually hurricane season, but I'd like to enjoy the beach. World travel, love it. Living the life you choose. I think this is the most important thing. This is the most powerful thing to me. Not being at a desk, having a boss tell you what to do with your life, tell you how to live your life, being free to live the life you choose and do what you want to do with it. Be with the people you hang out with, be with the people you want to be with, and live the life you want to live. No restrictions, real freedom. This is when we went to France. I think about 18 months back, we went to Nice, south of France. This is a recent retreat. We went to Little Palm Island Resort in the Keys, one of the top resorts in the world. Absolutely, it's a little tiny island, and they just have like 30 different huts on there, and you just live in one of those huts, and it's just like a little island out in the Keys. Amazing. We went snorkeling, and I went fishing. I caught a shark. It was pretty cool. Here's a trip we took to Bermuda. And that's helmet diving. Actually, they put a helmet on your head and you go down into the coral reefs and you can touch all the fish and everything. It's pretty cool. Here's a trip we took to Alaska, and we actually were on a glacier here. And that's an Iditarod camp where they're training dogs for the Alaskan Iditarod. And I had a chance to go sledding. That was an amazing experience. So that's about it. If you'd like to learn more about affiliate marketing and pay-per-click, then go to Super Affiliate Mindset and check it out. I think we have time for a few questions. Go ahead.
You mentioned you're running one Google account with multiple campaigns. How do you deal with similar campaigns when you're bidding on words? In Google, if you win the word, they're not going to let you have that for multiple campaigns. They're only going to let you have
Yeah, I don't have that many overlap in my campaign, so that's a good point. If that's the case, you want to open a new account. Use an alias.
Alias?
Yeah. Alias, you can basically, it points to the same content. And if you talk to, if you go into your web hosting, it's pretty easy to set up the alias. How do you test display URLs? Trust me, this is a pretty difficult game. Just by looking at your landing page, you're not going to be able to put your whole campaign together. That's never been an issue for me. Actually, you know what? A good way around that is, if you're concerned about that, have like multiple different outsourcers, each doing a different thing. So they don't see the whole. They don't see the whole elephant. They might see the nose, they might see the tail, they might see the leg, but they don't see the whole thing.
How are you using conversion tracking, tying in AdWords with the Play program?
Well, you have to request a merchant to put your conversion pixels on the thank you page.
Are they willing to do that readily? Like what?
It depends on the network. Depends on the network. Some merchants will be very happy to do that for you, and others won't. If they don't, then you probably have to use something like X conversions, or there's third-party tools that use the SID tracking, and they put the SID at the keyword level tracking, and then they can track the sales and everything. But that actually is a pain in the butt if you actually do that. If you use Google conversion tracking, it's way easier because you can use AdWords editor to look at your stats and everything and optimize your campaigns. But yeah.
Do you use any third-party bid management?
I'd be careful about that. I'd be careful with third-party bid management because a lot of it's a black box and you don't know what's happening. If you're just starting out, I would recommend optimize your campaigns yourself. If you get to the point where you have a really massive campaign, you might want to consider it. I am using something called, they don't offer it anymore. They've kind of shut down. They're not accepting any more customers, called Media Boost. And that works pretty well, but you do have to pay for it. They charge you 3% of your ad spend, and don't use it as a crutch. The reason I hesitate to recommend any third-party bid management tool is some new affiliate's going to use it as a crutch, and they're going to get burned. Because you need to understand how to do it yourself. And I would use third-party bid management when you've understood how to do it yourself, and you have a lot of campaigns, and you don't have time to manage it. How do I filter the keywords? Oh, I have an outsourcing team. Sometimes it takes them a good 2-3 weeks. But I have a whole process laid out, like, okay, here's the keyword list. Take out all the irrelevant keywords, okay? Group them into different themes, Group them into ad groups, and I have specific criteria I set. And then I put it all in a spreadsheet. And then you can just upload it through AdWords editor. Yeah, negative keywords as well. Negative keywords I actually do a little bit on my own, but I will have them go through the list. If I have a list of 10,000 keywords, which I actually don't recommend you start with a list of 10,000 keywords. I recommend you start with a list of a couple hundred to 1,000 keywords. You don't want to overload your campaign with long tail keywords in the beginning until you've established some account history for at least 2 weeks, because Google will penalize you if you put like 50,000 keywords in your account for a new campaign. Yeah, it's a very good idea. I highly recommend it. But don't just put a generic WordPress template on there, because Google can through that. Make sure you put some time into customizing it, making it look like a real site, Any
thoughts about using unique IPs or having multiple pay-per-click landing pages on the same box, not necessarily linking to each other? Actually, none of them are linking to each other.
Yeah. You mean in terms of like people finding out your sites and stuff? There's a couple of different things you can do. You can have multiple servers, multiple hosting companies, and you can use separate IPs for your sites. That will not prevent people who are really savvy from finding your sites, but most people won't be able to find them. Because people who are really savvy can still find your sites even if you use multiple IPs.
Do you share IPs a lot between your paper pages?
I have my own servers. I have multiple servers where I have my sites spread across. So a lot of people think, oh yeah, I know your sites. No, you don't. Anyone else? Okay, I think that's about it.